Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be giving you guys all the tea on my new iPhone 14. I got this phone on the 5th of December. Today it is the 5th of January, so I've been using it for a month. Also guys, this is my first iPhone ever, okay? I've only been an Android babe, okay? That's all I know, Android, and my previous phone was a Samsung A30. I had that phone for almost 3.5 years if I'm not mistaken. So you can imagine guys the shock that I had when I moved to an iOS system and I had to get used to it. I had to learn how to use this phone from scratch. Okay, I knew nothing because in my circle or in my family, friends, whatever, I'm the first person to ever own an iPhone. Okay, so it was definitely an experience. Okay, but in this video, as I said, I'm gonna tell you guys all the stuff that I like and all the stuff that I miss from my Android phone. Also guys, please keep in mind I've only had this phone for a month, so there's probably features or things that this phone can do that will take my experience like on another level, but right now I've not discovered those things. The stuff that I'm going to be talking about are things that I use on a daily basis because I use my phone pretty much to create content for Instagram and YouTube, and also to stream YouTube and all those things. So I'm talking about stuff that I use like every day and my experience with those things. If you feel like there's a feature or there's anything on this phone that you think I would like, let me know in the comments. Like, no iPhone fans, you guys can go crazy on the comments and start being a little bit insulting to someone. So please don't do that on this video, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna start talking about the stuff that I like on this phone. I've written things down on my notes to help me throughout this video. So first thing that I like guys is the exterior. I've always loved the exterior of iPhones. First time I saw an iPhone guys was in 2016 and it was an iPhone 8, and ever since then I just fell in love with iPhones and it was like my dream phone. Don't get me wrong, I loved my Samsung A30. In fact, that was at that time the most beautiful phone I had ever seen in my life. But I always knew at the back of my mind that the aim is to get an iPhone, and this exterior guys, it is amazing. Anyways, I love the design of this phone, especially this color, this blue color. Amazing. As I said, go check out like my unboxing video. You will see the color clearly on that video. The second thing that I like, it is the back camera. This back camera, it is amazing. Okay, I always heard people saying iPhone pictures are amazing, iPhone phones take amazing pictures, and I can attest to that. Okay, rear end camera, amazing. I would never change anything about this rear camera. Now the selfie camera, it is a different story. I hate the selfie camera on this phone. In fact, I prefer the selfie camera on my Samsung. Okay, I feel like that selfie camera was doing something that this phone is not doing. Okay, and I'm gonna keep it at that. Okay, the next thing that I like, it is the AF lock feature on the camera. That AF lock feature is amazing. My Samsung had the same feature, but the thing about it is that on my Samsung, if I move the camera a little bit, it would unlock, like it would move from being locked to unlock. Okay, so it was a bit hard to focus and all of that stuff. But this one right here, when I lock it, it is locked. Okay, and then another thing that I like is the focus on the selfie camera. As much as I hate the selfie camera quality, the focus on it is amazing because, as I said, I use my phone to take videos. Okay, so sometimes when I want to focus a product, especially if I'm doing a makeup video, the focus on the selfie camera, it is amazing. Even though I really don't use it, but I've tested it out and I can say it is amazing. The focus is the same as the one in the rear end camera. And also guys, I'm gonna just say now, some of the features I'm gonna be talking about are superficial. Okay, if you're a tech person and you're into phones and all of that, these features are probably gonna be like to you, those are like basics. And as I said, I use this phone pretty much for basic everyday things. Okay, another thing that I like is the fact that this phone adjusts its brightness according to my environment. For instance, right now I'm in a shaded area because I'm inside the house, and the brightness is right for where I am right now. If I'm outside and the sun is hitting the phone, the brightness will go up so that I'm able to see my screen. I really like that because on my Samsung phone I had to do that manually. I don't know if I could change it to do it like on its own, but from the time I've been using that Samsung phone, I had to do it manually. Okay, And then another thing that I like is the copy and paste edit feature when you've edited a picture. I know this might seem silly, but as I said, as a content creator, that feature that day is amazing. Because on my Samsung phone, I had to download Lightroom for me to do this. But here on this phone right here, I can edit my phone from like the camera roll, save those edits, and if I wanted to use them on another picture, all I had to do was copy them and just paste them on that picture. I know, as I said, it might be like a small feature, but I really like it. It makes things easy, and also it prevents me from downloading another app. Okay, another thing I like on this phone is the speakers. Yo, the speakers on this phone are loud and they are crisp. I love the speakers on this phone. Okay, like I can have my phone playing music full blast on my bedroom. I can hear it on the other side of my apartment loudly. Okay, and I really like that. Like, it is amazing. The speakers are amazing. And also, guys, I just want to say this because I just discovered this thing like yesterday. Okay, because I was going through some of the pictures that I took with my selfie camera, and I was just looking at the metadata on those pictures, and I saw that some of them were saying the picture is like a 5 megapixels, taken with a 5 megapixel. And I was like, why? Because I thought this phone was a 12 megapixel, only to find out that the 12 megapixel camera works on wide lens camera. So if you're taking your pictures with the normal selfie camera, it's going to be 5 or 7 megapixel, and then when you use the wide angle, that's when the 12 megapixel like lens or sensor works. So if you've ever wondered why some of your pictures come out low quality, that might be the problem. Okay, just letting you guys know. And then we're gonna move on to some of the things that I wish this phone had, or some of the things that I miss from my Samsung. Okay, I've already mentioned it, is the selfie camera. I prefer the selfie camera on my Samsung phone, and weirdly enough, I've heard people say that the selfie camera on the 14 is not as good as the one on the 13. Most people prefer the one on the 13. So that is pretty weird. Like, it doesn't make sense why on the 14 it's bad and on the 13 it's better. Like, you would expect the 14 to be way better. Another thing that I miss, guys, is the pause button when you're taking a video. Okay, if you've ever used an Android phone, you know what I'm talking about, and I wish that the iPhone camera also had that, because if I'm taking a video, I can't now have like a long video of these tiny clips that I want to take. Now I have 2-second clips full on my camera roll, and it is just too much. Like, you know, it's easy for you to lose some of your footage when you have all these multiple clips. Okay, and then another thing also that I really like miss from my previous phone is the fact that the camera settings were in the camera app, whereas now if I wanna access the camera settings, I have to leave the camera app and go to settings and search camera settings, and that is just unnecessary. Like, there's an extra step that you could have just eliminated by having the camera settings within the camera app. But you know, guys, I've realized that the iPhone, their goal is to make it totally different from other phones. Okay, they don't want you to have the same like experience or do things the same way you would do it on an Android, because you know, once you move to an Android, it doesn't matter whether you're using a Samsung, a Huawei, an Apple, or whatever different brands, they all have the same operating system. So it is easy to move from Samsung to and all these other brands, but it's difficult for you to move from like a Samsung to an iPhone, because the iOS system is totally different. So another thing that I don't like, and maybe this can be fixed, I don't know, is that when I'm using the rear end camera and I want to put it in a timer mode so that I can take pictures of myself, it will take bursts of photos and not just one picture, or maybe I can set it to like 5. How do I do that? Because I feel like on my Samsung I could change it. I could say I wanted to only take 1, or I wanted to take like 5 or 10. I don't know. Can I do that here on this phone? If I can, let me know in the comments on how I can set it up to do that. And then also another thing that doesn't make sense, I wouldn't say I don't like it, it's just that it doesn't make sense, is the fact that my WhatsApp calls show up on my phone app, on my call log, whatever. Like, if someone calls me on my WhatsApp, it will also show up on my recents, on my call log. Like, why it doesn't do that? And also the call is already recorded on my WhatsApp calls, why is it also showing up on the phone? It doesn't make sense. Another thing that I miss is the music app. The iPhone doesn't have a music app. I don't understand. I thought that iTunes was the music app for iPhone, but it's not. Like, I miss the music app. You know how on your Samsung phone or your Android phone, you could have music on your memory card, or you could download music to your phone and you can play it through the Samsung music app? On here, it doesn't do that. And I know someone will say, well, you can download Spotify or iTunes or whatever. And I have Spotify. It's just that sometimes I download songs from SoundCloud and I want to listen to them on my phone, but I can't because there's no music app, and I probably have to download like a third-party one, and it's like, why can't you just, you know? Another thing that I miss is the number row on the keyboard. Like, this phone doesn't have it. On my Android phone, I had the number row, and it's a simple row. Like, I wish they gave us an option to have it and not have it. You can just change it according to how you want your keyboard to look like, but they don't give you that option. And you probably find that I probably have to download the Google keyboard or another keyboard if I want to have the number row. So another thing that I used a lot on my Samsung, this phone doesn't have, is the clipboard feature. Like, now on this phone, if I copy something and I paste it on something else, like, it is not recorded or it is not stored on a clipboard because there's no clipboard. Like, it is lost. Whereas on my Samsung phone, if I copied anything at all, it is stored on the clipboard, okay? And then another thing that sometimes irritates me or gets on my nerves is the backward navigation, okay? That thing is different. It is not the same on this phone. And I know someone in the comments is gonna say it's the same. No, it's not the same. And I know Android people will agree with me. If you've used an Android and you moved to an iPhone, you will agree with me that the backward navigation is not the same. Sometimes it is swipe left, but on other apps it is not swipe left. Sometimes they have an arrow that indicates that you have to press it. Sometimes it's the back. Like, I'm confused. I'm confusion. It's not the same, guys. It's not the same. And then there's Face ID. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I struggle with Face ID, especially when it's nighttime and I'm in my bedroom, all the lights are off, and I try to open my phone while I'm on my side. It doesn't want to open. I have to sit up, make sure that the camera is facing my face so that it opens. I wish they gave us an option to also use a fingerprint, because on my Samsung I had both Face ID and also the fingerprint ID, but I never used the Face ID because of the same issues that I have here. And also, as you guys can see, I love makeup. Sometimes when I have makeup, this phone doesn't recognize me at all, especially if I'm having different lash styles and all that. It doesn't recognize me at all. I have to put in my password manually, and I'm just like, what's the point of having Face ID if I'm also going to be inputting my password manually? Like, what's the point? I wish we had an option. I mean, guys, with all the space on this phone, I'm sure they can fit a fingerprint sensor some way. Like, iPhone, you can make a plan. And then another thing that I miss, which is probably gonna seem pretty ridiculous also, is the fact that on my Samsung phone, if I had all my tabs open like this, if I had all these tabs open, at the bottom right here, there was an option for me to close all of them at once, instead of me having to swipe. Like, I had that option on my Samsung phone, and I wish that I also had the same option right here, because sometimes I have multiple tabs open and sometimes I like closing all my tabs and just starting afresh. So now I have to keep on closing all of them, just doing this. It's too much work. Why can't we have that option, you know? And then another thing that I miss is T9 calling. If you don't know what T9 calling is when you go on your keypad. Let's say you've saved your mom's number under mom, and you're too lazy to go on your phone, on your contacts list, because you don't know her number by your head. What you would do is you would go on your keypad like this, and all you had to do was press the numbers that correspond to the letters mom, and all the numbers that have those letters stored on your contact list will show up here. But this time you can't do that. Like, if you don't know anyone's number, you have to go to your contacts list and scroll and find that number. Like, that's too much work. Or you go on your recent if they've called you recently, and that's how you would find that number. It's too much work. Like, I use that feature a lot because I don't know a lot of people's numbers. So if I've saved your name by like Jack or whatever, all I have to do is just press 5225. to correspond with the letters Jack, and your number will just pop up there at the top right there. I missed that a lot. Okay, that was a handy feature. Okay, and last but not least, I want to talk about how WhatsApp operates on this phone. Now, I don't know if it's because of the iOS system or if WhatsApp is like that just in general, but WhatsApp is different on this phone. Okay, now if you've used Android, you know, if you're trying to forward messages to someone, all you have to do is long press on the message, and then it will give you options to select multiple messages, and then you would press forward. Well, on this phone it doesn't do that. What you have to do is long press on the message, and then it gives you like a pop-up box with the options, and then you have to press forward, and then that's when it gives you like the choice to select multiple messages. Why an extra step? Why an extra step? Like, why can't you make it easy for your users? Like, I found that with the iPhone there's a lot of extra steps. It doesn't make sense. It's the same as when you're trying to send multiple pictures. If you want to send multiple pictures to someone on WhatsApp, you know, on your phone you click on your WhatsApp, you click the camera icon, and then from there you can long press on the pictures that you want to send. Here it doesn't do that. You click on your camera icon, and then you press the picture. Once you've selected the picture, you will then open like the chats of the person you want to send it to. Then that's when you'll be able to select multiple pictures. Why the extra steps though? I don't understand why the extra steps. At first I thought, do I have to send them like individually? That's gonna take me forever. Like, that's too much work. Like, why these extra steps? Is unnecessary. I know someone out there is gonna be like, well, what's your opinion on the battery life? Because that's also one of the big questions that I got on my unboxing. And guys, I don't know whether this phone has a good battery life or not, because I don't have anyone to compare it to. As I said, this is my first iPhone. I'm the only person in my life who uses an iPhone, so I'm just gonna tell you guys how my battery life goes, and you guys are just gonna let me know if that's good or bad. Okay, so if I'm using everything on this phone, if I have my Instagram, YouTube, streaming music, and googling things, Safari open, if everything I'm using, I get a good 9 hours from this phone. Now, if I'm only maybe listening to a couple of songs and then maybe 1 or 2 videos, and then I have Safari open and all those things, I can get a good 20 or 21 hours. So is that good? Because I also feel like when I first got my Samsung, I could get like around about 20 hours, 20 or 22 hours on my Samsung. So I don't know if that's good or bad. If that's bad, let me know, because I will return this thing. I will return this phone and get another phone. Okay, because I've always heard people saying that the iPhone has good battery life. So if that's bad, you return this and you will see me with another phone, or you will see me doing another unboxing. Yeah guys, I think I'm gonna end this video right here. I feel like I've answered all the questions that I mainly get from my unboxing video. That's pretty much why I did this video, because I was getting a lot of questions from Android users looking to switch to an iPhone, or people who've already done the switch and they just wanted to see or know what my experience is with this phone. And I hope I've answered all their concerns. And I want to say that if you're an Android user and you're looking to move to an iPhone, please do your research. The mistake I made is I didn't do my research. All I knew is that I wanted an iPhone, and I got an iPhone. Okay, I didn't know that some of the features that are on your Android phone, you will not find them on your iOS, or they will work differently on an iOS phone. So I would recommend that you do all the research that you want to do, and once you've done your research and you find that you can live without all these features, then go ahead, buy the Samsung. For instance, me, I'm not switching to an Android. I don't see myself switching to an Android anytime soon. I'm gonna stick with this phone, because as much as I've mentioned all these things that I miss from my Android, I also love this phone, guys. And as I said, I've only been using it for a month, so maybe as time goes by, the longer I use it, I will find other features that I like, or I will find other things that make my experience with this phone easy. Okay, so don't let anyone deter you from getting an iPhone if that's something that you really want. Okay, for instance, my phone is under contract, guys. If I wake up tomorrow and I don't want this phone, I want to go back to an Android, I can do that, because it's a contract phone. I can exchange it, I can upgrade my contract and get an Android phone, so it's easy for me. Whereas if you buy your phone cash, you will have to find someone to buy your phone and then use that money to buy the phone that you want. So it is a lot of a hassle going on with that. So contract phones are pretty easy. If you guys want another updated video of my experience with this phone, maybe a 6-month or 1-year experience with it, I will definitely do that, because I'm gonna be keeping this phone for a long time, guys. The one thing about me, I don't change my phones every year. It's gonna stick, okay? I might even keep it for 2-3 years, who knows, okay? Anyways, yeah, I'll end this video right here. If you did enjoy it, give it a big thumbs up, share it with other people, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on another one. Bye.